How are you?
Funny.
Doing good?
Yes.
Thank God. So much happens in this Torah portion. It spans almost 8 decades, maybe even more. Shemais, translated as Exodus, but literally means names because it starts with recording the names of our original ancestors who came to Egypt in the first place. Finally, the second book of the 5 books of Moses, and in it we meet Moses. We learn of the Pharaoh of Egypt deciding what to do about this Jew problem in his land, and hence starts the slavery that was the most tyrannical and oppressive exile of our nation in our long history of oppression. And eventually the jam-packed Torah portion comes to a close with Moshe's wife, Tzipora, saving his life, Moshe meeting Parai, and Parai making things unbearably tougher upon us, and Moshe demanding a justice from God, the type of justice that human beings can understand and see. And the beginning of God's reply is recorded at the very end of this parsha and then continues on in the next upcoming Torah portion. Today is the anniversary of the passing of the first Chabad Rebbe. Now, that was my phone case that just fell out of my pocket. The first Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, the author of the Tanya, and he also made a Shulchan Aruch, a code of Jewish law, a lot of which we do not have anymore. However, anyways, let's not get off topic. And let me tell you this, he was once disputing, right, a proper disputation was taking place between him and the self-entitled Misnagdim, which means opposers. These opposers were in opposition of the approach in general of Chassidus, not even specifically Chassidus Chabad, but especially Chassidus Chabad. But anyways, they took issue with 2 major themes of the Baal Shem Tov, the original teacher of Chassidus, who brought it to the masses, really. And these 2 things were that he gave far too much attention and love and respect to simple Jews. Respect is reserved for Torah scholars, these people felt. What are you giving so much attention and love and talking about how precious simple, unlettered, illiterate Jews are? That was one issue. Another issue, which in a way was an extension of this, was that the Baal Shem Tov was saying that righteous men, Torah scholars, need to do teshuvah. What? The illiterate people need to do teshuvah. Torah scholars were at the top. Among the very many explanations, responses, and refutations that the Alter Rebbe had for those who opposed the approach of Chassidus, the Alter Rebbe said this: these 2 things that you take tremendous issue with, God himself shows that this is his approach at the very beginning of our Exodus, when he reveals himself in the burning bush to Moses. A thorn bush was on fire. The word for flame, the flame of fire, is bilabas eish. The word for the flame is bilabas, which is also the word lave, which means heart, signifying the passion, the fire that's inside of the heart. Why a thorn bush? The famous Rashi explains, because the prickly thorn bush was God's way of saying that I am with the people in their pain, in their distress. And the word for pain is tzara, which can be rearranged to be the word sohar, which means like a window, a way for light to come in. The passion in the heart is also painful because it is an intense longing for God, which can go unquenched in the illiterate, specifically in those who don't have a mastery over the Torah. Those who know so much Torah and can learn more Torah can quench that thirst, that passion, with their Torah study. But those who cannot. And God is saying that inner passion, that inner longing is so dear. And what did Moshe do when he saw this thorn bush aflame? He says, let me turn and investigate what's going on with this fire. Let me turn. Let me redirect myself. Let me do teshuvah, which literally means return. Because the great Moshe, who was also the most humble person on the face of the earth, even he said there's something about this passion, there's something about this longing, this simple passion that one has for Hashem, that I need to change my place from where I am right now and go there. I don't know how to make a practical lesson out of this because we already have that passion inside of us. However, as we'll learn soon if you're following the daily study of the Tanya of the Alter Rebbe, we just have to activate it. And I would say that the Moshe of today, the Moshe Rabbeinu, our leader, has told us we are already free. Pharaoh, slavery, Egypt still exists, albeit internally, differently and yet in the same way. But so does Moshe. And we need to activate Mashiach mode. Stand behind Moshe with the attitude of freedom. Increase in joy in your life. Increase in love. Do another mitzvah. Study more Torah. And the universe will experience freedom in a way that human beings can see it.